Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shaman's Way. This is a channel dedicated to spreading the magic of spirit and healing to the community of the world. I'm Casey McBride.
And I am Nanette with Radiant Reiki.
And we are going to have a beautiful conversation on energy healing and the possibilities around not just Reiki, but many other magical modalities and what it can do to help people really take control of their lives and create some incredible change. All right, welcome everyone. So I'm really excited to have Nanette here. We connected, it was when, back in the spring, or was it in the summer when I originally met you for shamanic healing out in the metro parks?
Yeah.
When was that? Do you remember?
I don't remember quite. The weather was nice, so
Yeah, it was sunny and warm, so it was either spring or summertime. I know that.
yeah.
So I've been working with Nanette doing healing work, and we had gotten to talk a little bit, and so I wanted to invite her on the channel. She has a channel, Radiant Reiki. So if you're interested in what we're talking about and you want to learn more, she offers all kinds of like free distant Reiki sessions and things like that on her channel. So the link's in the description. You can click on over there and subscribe to her channel. Also subscribe to this channel to help us spread the magic of spirit to the world. Nanette, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do, what you offer, because from my understanding, it's not just Reiki. You incorporate a lot of other things as well. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's quite interesting what I've come to do with the energy healing. My channel, Radiant Reiki, is mostly kind of like almost a guided meditation in a way, where there's different topics, different clearings that I do that people can listen to and receive the Reiki healing. And it's just so amazing how distant energy healing can work. I get so many comments from people watching videos, even a month or two after, how they felt the energy, felt the clearing. So that's what I do a lot of on my channel. My one-on-one sessions are a lot deeper dive into people that are really wanting to it's not just Reiki, it's like clearing their chakras, balancing their chakras. I also incorporate Ho'oponopono, which is a Hawaiian prayer meditation. I'm not sure. Some people are familiar with it and some aren't. So it's interesting.
Yeah, my all I know is the I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you, or something like that is the general. But I know there's so much more to it than just that.
Yeah, I've been learning more about it because for a long time I was just using that general sense of it, and there's a little bit deeper of it as well. But yeah, it's a little bit more for people too. There was a Hawaiian doctor who cured in like an insane asylum of criminally insane patients, and he never even saw the people in person. He sat in the office and read through their files and did this clearing, and within a couple of years everyone was healed. And
that's so incredible.
Yeah.
See, to me, like you said, he was never even met these people, never saw them. He just knew their names and had their files, and he just went through this process of using love and gratitude to, and the whole thing is that he's healing himself because he takes responsibility, and he knows that we, as the absolute creators of our reality, are responsible for everything that happens. So all of those criminally insane people, he created that. And that sounds like, well, I don't want to take responsibility for that. Like I didn't do any of that. That's them. But the really empowering thing is, once you take responsibility that you are the one that creates every aspect of your reality, then you can take control and you can begin to change it and create more peace and harmony. So he's actually performing the healing on himself and saying, like, I'm so sorry that I created these people who are criminally insane or whatever's going on, and then, like, please forgive me for that. And goes through this process of healing himself of that, and in doing so, that actually physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually healed these criminally insane people, and they were functioning normal human beings again, which is just an incredible testament to the power that we all hold within us. And in truth, when you go into this kind of work, whether it's Reiki or shamanic healing, really the truth that we all eventually arrive at is that we are all one. We are all consciousness. We're all the space that allows for all of this stuff to be. And so yeah, we absolutely create every aspect of our reality, and it's so empowering to know that, because then you can create your ideal reality. And that's something that I'm kind of interested. Sorry if I want to derail a little bit. But I'm really feeling called this morning. I was talking to some people about manifestation. So is that something you actively work with in terms of using whatever practices, visualization or like reality creating to bring about different things in your life? And what's your experience with that? Maybe share a story or something.
Yeah, a lot of what I do too with people is helping them with their manifestation, like really getting clear on their energy to help them create the life that they want and manifest. And I have some cool techniques that I use with water. I'm sure you know the power of water. And
oh, yeah.
So even like my normal drinking, I always write like on my glass bottles, like I am healthy, I am wealthy, abundance, prosperity, joy, I am love, I am loved. So I write these things on my bottles of water.
Oh, I love that.
I'm taking that in, and I Reiki the water. And so that's coming in. And I've done a live group session with the Happy Soul coach, Molly, who was on our other live feed. We've done a group and we did about using this water intention and setting an intention while you're drinking the water as a way of manifesting. And I actually, one of the manifesting techniques, you know, how you say like affirmations and you're like, oh, unlimited money is flowing to me, and money from unknown sources. I've always had a block on how is unknown money going to come to me. So I really worked on clearing that one last year. And it was interesting because a couple days after that, I got a check in the mail that was from a bank, and I had like 10 years ago when I live in Ohio now. It was a bank that I had in Colorado. I had a checking, savings, and credit card with my ex-husband. And we had one of those like credit protect things that you paid monthly for on the credit card. And I had completely forgot all about it. I didn't know the accounts had been closed for so long, even the credit card. And it was interesting too, because the check was only made out to me, even though it had been a joint account in the past. The check was made out to me for $502.
Oh, wow.
And it had like a letter with it saying that there was one of those like class action type lawsuits against the credit secure program, that they weren't doing something right, so that they were refunding everybody's money that they had paid into it. And I was just like, well, I guess this is the unexpected money.
Oh, it's so amazing. You know, that's a big thing. You know, people like manifesting financial abundance is a big thing people focus on. And it is, to me, when it comes down to your willingness to receive, right? We're the creators of our reality, but if we don't feel willing to receive that abundance, we don't feel worthy of it, then it's not going to come our way. But if we open up and say, I'm ready, I'm worth this, I am worth a lot of money, then the money will come in. And a similar kind of story, one towards the beginning of last year, when the pandemic started to hit and we had that initial lockdown, right? So at this point, my primary source of income was massage therapy. I was doing shamanic healing and all the other stuff, but my kind of bread and butter was massage therapy. I was working at a chiropractor's office, and we went into lockdown, and so I had no source of income whatsoever. And I think we were locked down for something. It was like a few weeks. Was it almost a month we were in lockdown? I can't even remember.
It's interesting too, because, I'm also a massage therapist and went through the same thing. And so I didn't get to go back to work until the end of May. So it was like 8 weeks.
Yeah, it was similar to, it sounds about right for me as well. Because massage therapy was shut down a lot longer than the lockdown was, I remember. Yeah. So anyway, so a few weeks in, I started thinking, I had some savings, and I'm like, I'm set, I'll be fine. But I really would like some income to come in. And so this got me thinking, kind of like along the lines of Nanette was saying, what unexpected sources of income can I bring in? So another way of manifesting, instead of just making intent, like affirmations, instead of just, I have $2,000 coming my way. That $2,000 is mine. I have that too. And going through that. The other thing you can do is ask questions. That's a really powerful way to begin to manifest, because when you ask a question, your subconscious mind, and in turn the universe, has to go looking for an answer every time you present a question to your mind. So the question I asked was, what can I do in order to bring in $2,000, an additional $2,000 within the next 2 weeks? I asked that question, and in my mind, I had no idea. I was completely open, willing to receive it, but I couldn't see the possibility for how that would actually show up. I had no idea. And then something I had just been doing kind of for fun was these spirit guide mediumship sessions. So I was trading with other readers just in groups, just for fun, to have readings and stuff, and to help people give the messages from their spirit guides. And so I'm sitting there. This was like a week after I had asked that question, what can I do to bring in an additional $2,000? And then all of a sudden I get this message from Spirit, comes through really clearly and says, do a live stream and do spirit guide mediumship. And I went, well, I've never done anything like that before. I don't know how to do that. Like, what are you talking about? I don't know how that's going to look. But I listened, and I went on, and I did a live stream doing spirit guide mediumship just for people through the comments. That first live stream, my first ever live stream doing something like that, I had 3 people reach out to me to book full sessions. And asked me, like, how much do you charge, all this? I had to figure all that out. And then I said, I'm like, I've got my business set up. I'm going to do this. And so I continued to live stream every single day. And within the next 2 weeks, I brought in $2,000 from people signing up for sessions, just doing those live streams.
Yeah.
So I asked that question, what can I do to bring in $2,000? And boom. The $2,000 came.
Yeah.
So
got your answer and got your $2,000.
And that and it's amazing when we see this, because to me it was just a simple, like, I need some money, so I'm going to try and manifest some money. But that changed the course of so much, and it opened me up to the possibility of having this online business, of not just doing spirit guide mediumship, but of doing shamanic healing at a distance, and creating this YouTube channel and spreading these messages. And it opened up so much possibility. So all these things that we manifest, like the ways that they unfold and continue to improve our lives, is always just blows me away every single day.
That's one thing that I really try to tell people too, is when they're manifesting or wanting to bring something in, is to let go of the control. Because like, we tend to want to, like, oh, well, to do this, to make $2,000, I need to do this and I need to do that. And you start over analyzing and thinking that you're supposed to have it come a certain way.
Yes.
That control, like, really ends up blocking it. You asked the open question and you received a spiritual guidance and went about it and took inspired action. You didn't try to control any of it. And that's how it came through. So many interesting things have happened to me in the last few years that there's no way I could have like planned out and been like, oh, I'm going to meet this certain person then, and they're going to help me do this. And just things happened to unfold in the ways that they did that led me to doing the distance Reiki. Because for a long time, like I've been a massage therapist since 2004. And I can't remember exactly what year I started technically doing Reiki. I was doing energy work and like medical intuitive work during my massage. Can't remember what year I technically became Reiki certified or Reiki master. But it was all hands-on for such a long time until like a chain of events led me to meeting someone while I was on like a entrepreneur business group vacation, like meetup. Happened to start talking about tattoos that turned into somehow a conversation about energy work and Reiki, and did a Reiki session that was changed my, I don't even know what it was, but everything just opened up, all my visions and everything. It was like a spiritual awakening. And
that is so amazing.
Yeah, it led me to doing distance work with that person. And then I was practicing. I'm like, oh, I want to do distance work with more friends. And then that opened up to me meeting a woman on YouTube and who has a channel. And I did a Reiki session for her. And then she started like telling people on her channel about me. And I put my business together. And this all happened. The main thing happened with the business in August of 2019. So I had just started growing my little distance Reiki business. And then January of 2020 started my channel. And I couldn't believe like how when I was in the shutdown and unable to work for 2 months, I had a little bit of income coming in. And already had like a small client base and reached out to them, offering them discounts, and had that little bit of money. It was almost like somewhere in me knew to prepare to have a second source of income.
Yes.
And so it was just interesting. Nothing I could have planned at all.
And here's the thing. Just like we were talking, how that doctor took full responsibility that he's the creator of his reality, and that gave him the power to create this incredible change. It's the same thing with each one of us. So when people first start to consciously work with manifestation, and I say that intentionally, consciously work with manifestation, because every single one of us is manifesting every single moment of our life. Every thought that you have, every emotion that you feel, you are continually affecting and creating the reality around you. Mm-hmm. And when we start to say we're like working with manifestation, that just means that we are consciously participating in that process and creating things that we specifically desire, instead of just having it be an automatic process. But either way, you're always manifesting. And so, when people first come to this realization, it can be a bit of a challenge. They say, well, I've experienced so much suffering, I've loved ones died and all this stuff. And like, I didn't create that. I didn't want any of that. But you have to take responsibility, and you have to know some part of you created every single thing that's ever happened. But it becomes so empowering, because then you can take control and create the life that you wanted. Now, I had a real just, kick to the face experience that woke me up. And I was on a very bad path. I was on a path towards a lot of suffering and just self-destruction and things. And then like 13 years ago, had this powerful spiritual awakening. And I realized all those years ago, I knew I had direct experience with the fact that we create our realities. Our thoughts, our emotions can directly influence the physical reality. And so I have consciously worked with manifestation. And this is just last night. I was lying in bed after a really powerful shamanic, I'm in an apprenticeship, apprenticing under my teacher, after this really powerful class. I was laying there in bed, and this thought just hit me that every single thing that I have ever desired to manifest has come true. Every single thing. And I sat and I looked at my life that I'm living right now. And this is my dream life from however many years ago. When I first discovered my healing abilities, I had decided I am going to do energy healing, shamanic healing, whatever like that is what I'm going to, what I'm going to do to make money. That's going to be my career. And I'm doing that now, and way more cool things also. And then wanted a quiet place in the suburbs. I've got a quiet place in the suburbs. The big things all the way down to, like the even more instantaneous stuff. Like I recently paid my teacher about $300 for these 3 one-on-one breathwork coaching sessions, because I'm training to become a breathwork facilitator. And I decided, you know what, I want to make that money back through unexpected clients, clients just that I've never, not my regulars, but people just coming in, new clients. I want to make that money back. And within 2 days, I made that plus an extra $200 that had come in. And then even, really almost unbelievable things. There was this one time where I'm just going to share the story real quick. One of my more powerful manifestation stories, but I was just learning about specific techniques for working with manifestation, a technique that I had learned called reality creation. And so it was Easter. It was Easter day. And it was, and around that time of year in Ohio, sometimes it can be really cold and not that nice. So it wasn't a very warm day or anything. And my family had gone off and they were with extended family having an Easter celebration. I wasn't participating. And so I was at home alone, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to drive up to Huntington Beach, a local beach in the area. And as I was driving up there, I'm doing this, sending out these waves of intent, doing this reality creation. And I was saying, I'm going to meet someone at the beach that I can practice energy work with, who is very sensitive to energy, who I can, just practice this stuff with. And then I started throwing it out there, and I was like, you know what? Let it be a beautiful woman. It's going to be a beautiful woman too. So, because why not? If I'm already like manifesting, let's go all the way. So I'm sending these waves out there. I get to Huntington Beach, and again, a day it's not very warm out. Easter, so not a lot of people are at the beach anyway. Most people in this area, Ohio is a very Christian kind of area, or at least Northeast Ohio is. And so not a lot of people at the beach anyway. So I get there, there's a few people there, and I'm kind of looking. I'm like, is that the person? Is it? All right, stop thinking about it. Just let it go. So I get down to the beach, and I knew I was looking for something, but I had no idea what I was looking for. And then on this one pier that goes out on the lake, I see one of those candle lanterns. You light a candle inside these lanterns and the heat makes it rise and fly up. I see one of those go up in the sky, and Spirit was like, that's it. So I walked over, and I couldn't even see who they were. There were two people. I couldn't make out what they looked like or anything, but I just started walking over to them. And it was this guy and this very beautiful woman. And I just went up to her, and I just blurted out without thinking, oh, wow, that could be a really cool healing exercise. And she goes, yeah, it could. And I said, yeah, just put all of, whatever your heaviness is or whatever onto that lantern and just watch it float away. And she's like, yeah, that'd be really cool. And I said, I'm an energy healer. And she goes, me too. And my jaw just like dropped. And so I'm sitting here and at the beach, beautiful woman, highly sensitive to energy healer. And we just spent the day playing with energy and practicing and having a good time. And to me, now that is something that is completely undeniable. That's not like, oh, I'd really like to have this career, and then like you go and work for it. This was something incredibly, almost far-fetched specific. And it showed up just by me putting out the waves of intent there and knowing for a fact that is what the reality was that I was creating. And it's not just thinking like, oh, I want this. That's a real, you can't manifest anything that way. In fact, you're actually saying, I lack that thing if you say I want that. But instead this is the way it is. Reality is already that way. That person is already at the beach. They're there. I'm just going, like, it's already set up. That's the way reality is. You have to know 100% it's already that way. And that happened. And meeting that person, events later on through different people I met through that person led to me becoming a massage therapist, which eventually led to me taking off my career as an energy healer. And so incredible. I remember I went on Facebook after that at the time, and I made this post, and I just, in big capital letters, I was like, holy crap, we are absolutely the complete in control creators of our reality, or something like that, and just made this huge post, and I was just blown away by the whole experience. But and from that moment on, I knew if there's something I really want to create, it will show up 100% of the time. And again, reflecting last night, everything from the little things to the big things, every single thing I've really put my mind towards manifesting has shown up and has been created and is here now. So it's, yeah, so amazing.
Yeah, that's really amazing. And you're nice and clear, and you know about energy. I find like that's what a lot of people get frustrated with. It's like they want to manifest and they read a book or two or watch some YouTube videos, and then but they're not, their chakras aren't balanced, their energy isn't clear. They don't know how to get clear on how to bring the manifestation, because they are in that like lack mode and desire mode, and if they don't see it happening, then they get frustrated. So that's what I like to work with people, like really like clearing the root chakra and letting go of all the fears and insecurities and get them nice and grounded, and just bring that energy up and raise their vibration. That's kind of what led me, I think it was like December 27th or so. It was right at the end of the year. I had this, again, I get receive a lot of messages from my guides from Spirit, and they were like, you need to do 21-day Facebook group energy clearing program. And just, I'm like, what? I've never done anything like that before. How am I going to come up with all this within a couple days? So I fought with myself for a little bit, and then threw it all together last minute. And it's coming together really cool. So it's like all kinds of different energy techniques that I use, and each day is something a little bit different, and live Reiki healing sessions and clearings to clear each of the chakras, and go about it in the 21 days, and to help people be able to manifest and create their dream life that they want. So it's been pretty fun and interesting doing that. And like on the one-on-one sessions, like when I'm connected in with the person doing their clearing, I'm also like channeling a lot of messages from their guides, from their light family, from whoever's coming through. And I see things as like images, in my mind. I hear things in my mind. I take notes, and part of the session is really fun at the end, letting them know like what messages that they received from their guides through the session. And they can like start the session with like an intent, with some questions that they want clarity on. So it's definitely a lot more to it than just the typical Reiki that people might be aware of, where it's just like the Reiki is universal life force energy that's all around us. Anyone can call on energy to come through and clear. And Casey does, you do a similar clearing with your shamanism, and it's kind of the same, like bringing the light in and just like sending it into earth to be cleared. But yeah, there's so many more possibilities of everything. And I know you were talking to a little bit, I know we've been all over the place, but
Oh, those are the best conversations.
Yeah.
And real quick, I just wanted to touch on something before we go on while we were still on manifestation.
Yeah.
Something that we both mentioned that's really key here for people to take away from this is, people they put out these waves of intent, and then when they ignore opportunities, right? So listen to all of these stories. There was something that happened, right? So when I put it out there that I wanted to bring in the $2,000, Spirit said, do a live stream. I didn't hesitate. I did it, and then it came. The person at the beach, I knew I was looking for something, saw this thing fly up. I acted on it. I went and talked. With you and in your example, same thing. Spirit said, make this group. You went and you made the group. So that's a huge thing so Spirit's going to give you an opportunity, but it's not going to do 100% of the work for you. So when you're looking to manifest something, you have to take action, and Spirit will show up. Something will shine. And you have to listen. In that moment that it shines, you have to immediately take action. And when you do that, every time that you do that, every time Spirit gives you this guidance, this opening, this opportunity, and you immediately act on it without thinking, you just go for it, then you're sending a clear message to Spirit that I am open to your guidance. I'm open to receiving, and I am open to this experience. And that's so important to do, to take action when you receive those messages. Again, it communicates to your own mind and to Spirit in a powerful way that this is important, and I'm ready for this. So that's huge, a huge point to take away.
Yeah. And they were telling me too, they're like, it doesn't matter if you get 2 people in the group or 20 or 200. It's just whoever's meant to be in that group is who you're meant to help. And that's a big part of like what I do too. I feel like the right people are drawn to you at the right times, and everything just kind of expands and goes from there, and you can't limit the possibilities.
Yes, and that's a big thing, being open to the possibilities. Like you said, you started out in energy healing with Reiki, but then you realize that can only kind of take you so far in what they teach you. So you opened up, learn other modalities, Ho'oponopono, or however that's pronounced, and then and you've incorporated so much, and the more and really the extent of your experience and how magical your reality is comes down to, what are you open to? What are you ready for? What are you willing to receive? And reality can be as magical or as dull as you are in allowance of it to be, which is really, really cool. And if you really are in the space of allowance to experience all of these incredible possibilities, communication with otherworldly beings and spirit guides, and incredible miracle healings, and things that are like straight out of a fantasy book or movie, but beyond, this can be your reality if you are ready to open up and receive those experiences.
Yeah, definitely. And what I was gonna add into too was about if you have like these different traumas in your life that come up, and when people are kind of like, well, kind of almost stuck in like a victim mode, they're trapping that energy, and they have to realize that like everything happens for a reason, and it happens to teach you a lesson, and it makes you a stronger person from that. But those old, stuck, stagnant energies, even as you're advancing, can get trapped. And there's a technique that I've learned. There's a book called The Emotion Code, and the healing with that uses kinesiology, like muscle testing, and magnets clearing the central meridian. And the essence with that is that like these different traumas and things that happened, we trap these emotions, especially men. Like men don't want to release their emotions. They want to bottle everything in, and but we do it as kids and all different times. So these trapped emotions can get stuck in the body, and the emotion code uses a technique to clear those trapped emotions. And it gets very specific down to like figuring out which emotion you first ask, like, is there trapped emotions that need to be cleared? You go through a process of coming to the emotion that needs to be cleared, and getting down to the age that the person was. It might have been something at the age of 16. If you don't get a clear answer on the age through the muscle testing, you ask, like, was this while you were in your mother's womb in the first trimester, second trimester, third trimester? And because if your mom, while she was pregnant with you, if something happened traumatic, then that trauma gets trapped in you as well. That needs to be clear.
See, I've never even thought about that.
Yeah.
I always go further back. I go to like past lives, but I never thought about like trauma in the womb. I mean, I'm sure, wow, that's really powerful work right there.
Yeah, I've had some clients that I've worked with where there was emotions that were trapped in the womb, and she was like, you know what, my mom had this accident while she was pregnant with me. And so the mom had that trauma, like, oh my gosh, is my baby safe? And just going through that. So it ended up trapping in them as well as that baby in the womb. So that was cleared, and it's amazing because it can go into like ancestral, like, was it your mom's mom that had this that was carried on through? And as you do these clearings, it will clear for each of the lineage where it came from.
Wow.
So it's pretty
amazing. Very cool.
Yeah.
And that's something I never, when I think of doing work with ancestors and things, I always think I'm always out in the ether and thinking of just the energetics and the spiritual aspect of it. But to think like on a physical level, we can store that in the crystalline information, like in our DNA and all of that, that can go back like through. Wow. That's really, really powerful, deep stuff.
Yeah. And it works like with the, muscle testing to get to where the emotions trapped, and then like clearing the central meridian. So it goes into a lot of different like ideologies of how to clear things. Because I usually tell people too that Reiki in a sense is like acupuncture, is like the energy is blocked somewhere in those meridian lines, and the energy of Reiki is flowing through to clear that out. So it's interesting how that emotion code ties in with the meridian as well to clear a blocked emotion, because that blocked energy causes physical pains, emotional pains. And so it's just really expansive.
That's amazing. And so what was the name of this modality again?
It's called the emotion code.
The emotion code.
I have
And while you're grabbing that, I just wanted to pull these up real quick. We had Einam was over on the last live stream, followed us over here. Thank you for following us. You are living your soul missions. Heck yes, we are.
Yeah.
And then Salome, I don't know how to pronounce that. But she says, hi guys, great catching you live. Wonderful to have you here. And Regina says, this sounds like theta healing. I'm not familiar with theta healing.
Yeah, I'm not familiar either. Interesting.
Yeah. And then, I don't know if that's something you want to answer or not. Is this a friend of yours or something like that, or?
I'm not familiar with the name.
Okay. Well, where you live?
Yeah, we're both in Ohio.
Yeah, Northeast Ohio. The emotion code: how to release trapped emotions in abundant health, love, and happiness. That's really cool. Now, this is something I've been learning about through a completely different. And there are so many ways of going about achieving these powerful results. Like, I've never heard of the emotion code before today, and something I've been exploring and training under my teacher for his breath work. And it's also a really powerful way to move trapped emotions in the body. And you do this continuous circular breathing, deep circular breathing, and it puts you in this really like altered state, but it brings up these emotions that are trapped in various places in the body. And when you start to feel this rise up, you just breathe in and out. Imagine the breath is coming in and out of this area until it goes from something that's painful to something that just becomes like a buzzing energy. So it goes from whatever it was to just an energy. And then from there, it becomes pleasurable. We call it integration into ecstasy. So it actually becomes something that's pleasurable, and it's no longer an energy that's causing you pain, discomfort, or however it's manifesting. It's now just an energy that you've reprogrammed into light again, so that it's not something holding you back or creating those problems. But amazing to see how many ways there are of affecting this. But you know what this shows to me? Again, we talk about these secondary independent reinforcers, right? So it's like where people from different areas of life, different cultures and things like that, come to a similar conclusion or similar discovery, independent of one another. But look how many modalities there are that are focused around releasing trapped emotions in the body. You learn about it in massage therapy, myofascial release. You see it in Reiki, shamanism, breath work, the emotion code, all of these things. We are working to release trapped emotions in the body. And that was something that, and I don't know whether, I'm sure science is catching up now, but I know previously there was no science backing the fact that emotions were able to be stored in the body. And now we're seeing all of these secondary independent reinforcers. So that just goes to show that this is something that is absolutely true. And it's something that there are many ways to work with. And when you begin to work with this, it's not uncomfortable, or it's not a comfortable process. It can be really painful and uncomfortable to go through and work through these things, but you have to feel to heal. Healing hurts. When you break a bone, your arm is really, really painful while the tissue is healing itself, right? If no matter what, if you're a person who suffers from a lot of anxiety, physical pain, depression, whatever, or if you consider yourself to be pretty content, we can always go deeper, improve our state of being, improve our internal environment. It's just it's so amazing, the worlds of possibility that are here within all of these different healing modalities. So encourage everyone to open up and just explore, whatever you feel called to. If you feel called to shamanic healing, if you feel called to Reiki, emotion code, whatever it is, try it out. Worst case scenario, you don't feel any better, you don't feel any worse. Best case scenario, completely changes your life. So.
And even like as I was going through my own like journey and healing process, and it was like the more that things were happening for me, the more I want to get even clearer. And I know it's like layers of an onion. Like I may have cleared some issues, but there's still that deeper level. No one's ever like fully healed. Like there's always going to be some type of inner work that they're going to need to do, especially the older you are. Like me being 42, like I have tons more trapped emotions than someone in their 20s because I've just had longer life and more issues. So there's deeper healing, deeper clearing to do. And
it goes back lifetimes as well. We have the stored trauma of, way before, maybe even before we came to Earth.
Yeah. You can even, I don't know if you do this, but like I've done Reiki sessions of clearing past life traumas. Like during some sessions, I'll start getting images that play out as a movie of their past life, and it's like, oh wow, okay, well they need some clearing on this that's integrated in with what they're going through now.
A lot of what I would do soul retrieval for that. So something's manifesting in the now as like either like some kind of emotional trauma or maybe even physical pain. And we go back and we just investigate what's the original wound. And someone might say like, oh, I was a kid and like this, horrible thing happened. And we say, well, was that really the original wound, or does it go back further than that? What about before you were born? What about in past lives? And then people will be like, I don't know why I'm seeing this, but like, I'm in like on a sailboat in like the 1200s, and and they're seeing the scene play out and something horrible happens, and then and that might be the original wound, or it might go even further back than that, and we just investigate till we find like the original thing that happened that caused this soul fracture, this trauma. We go back and then we do work to retrieve that part of themselves that's stuck in that corner of space-time and continually playing out as this trauma. And I just wanted to really quick pull up some of these comments. Regina says, fascinating healing opportunities. They really are. It is so incredibly fascinating to explore and learn about this stuff. And reality just becomes so incredibly magical when you open up to the possibilities. And someone says, I have been following Cass for a while, and Nanette is new to me. That's why I asked.
Mm.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, she's also in Northeast Ohio. Yeah. And then Casey, or maybe she was saying Casey is new.
Oh, I think
following Casey.
I was trying, following Casey.
And I have this problem when I get a healing and the residual is much more annoying to me. Body shaking and yawning. Okay, so both body shaking and yawning are signs of integration of energy. It's like the shaking is a lot of the times like a release of stored energy, and yawning to me I always see as like a sign of energy being integrated into the body. So those are good things. The body shaking and the annoying are very good signs, and they're a sign that the healing is working. So you learn to eventually enjoy those sensations because you know that it's helping you and it's creating more peace and it's helping you to heal and become more whole.
I always tell people that are new to Reiki that as they experience the energy flow in the clearing, that they might like have heat in their hands or feet, or tingles, or body twitches, yawning, burping, crying. Those are all ways that like the old energy is moving out, and as the new energy is healing.
Yeah, and they're all good things. I want to post one up. During these times where there is collective stress and heaviness, how can we as individuals help? That is an excellent question. So we were talking earlier in the stream about how the external world is not separate from us and that we create every aspect of the world. So really the way that you can help is by going within and healing your own traumas, healing your own wounds, doing the work to become more peaceful, to raise your vibration, to hold a space of love and joy and peace on your own. And that will begin to affect the world around you. And maybe you do that, and that affects just the people closest to you, and they start to become a little more peaceful, a little more grounded, a little higher in vibration. But then all the people they know, around them, they start to connect and they start to raise as well. And that creates this like just exponential effect of growth of consciousness. So really, one of the best things you can do is to focus on your own healing and holding the highest vibration and the highest intentions that you can. And one thing I want to really point out is, people, and it's horrible that the media does this, but we have things like the war on coronavirus, the war on terrorism. Let's fight these things, and that if you know anything about how the law of attraction works, how manifestation works, whatever you're putting a lot of thought toward, especially intense emotional thought toward, you're going to create more of that. So if you're thinking we have to get rid of the coronavirus is our enemy, we're going to fight it. So what are you really doing there? You're giving a lot of energy toward coronavirus. So you're going to be creating way more of that. So instead of being anti-coronavirus, be pro-health. Instead of being anti-war, be pro-peace. You see the trend there is whatever you actually want to manifest, be that. Don't fight the things you don't want. What you resist persists. That is a law of the universe. What you resist persists. So
it goes along that same thing too. Like when you're manifesting and writing out your intentions, you never want to have like a negative word. Like you don't want an affirmation to say, I don't want any debt, because you're giving the energy to the word debt. It doesn't matter if it's what it is. The focus is on that main word.
Yeah. The universe doesn't hear don't.
Yeah. So you
the universe just hears the thing.
Like the positive word, like I want to create abundance. So it goes the same thing. You don't want to put energy to whatever is the negative. You want to focus and put all the energy to the positive.
Yes, absolutely. That I couldn't agree with that anymore. I just wanted to pull up this she says, I've been wanting to get an opportunity to experience healing on a live. So she's talking about, I believe, my live stream healings. Yeah, I'm going to be getting into those again coming up here soon. I've been focusing on a lot of other things, so I haven't been doing a lot of those. So definitely, I'm assuming you're already subscribed to the channel, but for anyone else who's interested, subscribe to my channel, Shaman's Way. And yeah, make sure you have the notifications turned on. You'll get notified when I go on live to do those. But definitely going to be doing more of those this year. Just been taking a break from them to focus on other things for a while, but they will be there. And if you don't want to wait for that, you can always go ahead and schedule a session with me, shamanswayhealing.com, and you don't have to wait. And while we're on that note, anyone who has enjoyed what Nanette's been talking about, all the incredible possibilities and really amazing healing modalities that she practices, the link to her YouTube channel, Radiant Reiki, is in the description. So get onto the description, click over there, subscribe to her YouTube channel, and you can follow all of her incredible healing videos. She puts out like free Reiki healing videos and all kinds of cool content around energy healing. So go over there and subscribe to that as well.
Thank you.
And I would just pull up. So I love this comment. Let's get pro health. Yes, absolutely. If everyone could take that attitude instead of being anti this or anti that, let's be pro health. I guarantee you very quickly the world would begin to shift. How much to do a scan my body to determine if my solar fragments were left behind? I don't know. Are you asking about like session prices for things? First, we don't. How to answer that? That's something we investigate in a session, and I never go into a session like planning to do soul retrieval. It's just if spirit comes through and says we need to do soul retrieval, then we will. But in terms of like session costs, go on over to shamanswayhealing.com, and all of my prices are there. And it would just be a shamanic healing session that you're looking for that. So yeah. Wonderful. Well, this kind of seems like a place where we're coming to a wrapping it up kind of energy. So anything you want to share before we part ways, Nanette?
Yeah, it's just been great getting on here. We didn't have a plan on what we were going to talk about. We decided we just were going to let it flow and see what came through, what spirit was guiding us to talk about. And yeah, energy healing is just amazing in any sense of how it happens, whatever modality. Just be open to the possibilities that you can be healed and cleared, and really, yeah, whatever you want to manifest, it's totally open to you. You can create whatever you desire.
Yes, we are the absolute powerful gods, goddesses, complete conscious creators of our reality. So thank you, everyone. I just wanted to pull up these last couple of things. I love this comment. We need so much people like you to make this world a better place. Thank you. And again, subscribe to these channels, share the videos, because we really do want to help to spread this magic and make the world a more magical place. Like, that's really why we're on here talking and doing this, is that we know that the world needs this. And if we can help to inspire just one person by doing this live stream for this conversation, then this was a complete success. So thank you all for being here, for being open to listening and experiencing all of this. Regina says thank you. This is very informative. Thank you. Thank all of you so much. A Nike.
I just want to send everyone much love and healing.
Thank you. Have a beautiful, magical